Hi guys, I'm MightyBalls and today's video is regarding the IS3. I'm going to do a little review and hopefully show you how to play that, or at least give hints and tips about it. If you've got no aspirations of playing the IS3, I'm hopefully going to show you how to take this down on the battlefield. Let's get over to some statistics about this tank. So we're on Tanks GG, where you get all the statistics for your tanks. As you can see, I've got all the top modules loaded. I'm going to focus on AP, but I will like to say that APCR's velocity is 1259, where the standard is only 1007, which is still decent. I've got V-stabs on my equipment, as well as gun lane drive and gun rammer. I have small repair kit, small med kit, and I have rations on my tank. I only have a couple of skill crews, so I've got Brother in Arms, Smooth Ride, Snapshot, and Safe Stow. I've also got Sixth Sense and things like that, but that doesn't show on this website. So with this loadout, you've got 2176.9 DPM with an alpha of 390 and a penetration of 225. That gives you a reload of 10.75 seconds and a rate of fire of 5.58 and an aim time of 2.78. A dispersion of 0.36, and on the move it's 0.16, 0.17 and 0.06 for traversing on turret and tank. The top speed is 38 and the reverse is 15. The power to weight ratio is a little bit underwhelming at 14.14, but there again it's a heavy. The view range is 372.5, which isn't too bad for a heavy really, and its radio range is 776.93. So if you see this on the lower plate, it's 180-ish, and on the top plate it's 190 to 230-ish. So don't angle this, because as soon as you angle this, it's actually going to be worse. So don't. The turret is up between 250 and up to 500-600, so the turret's impregnable from that angle anyway. Now the gun mantle, again, don't bother trying to shoot at it. The cupola is hard to see, hard to hit, shall I say, but it is, if you hit it, only 80 to 90. Now you can overmatch the top of this, not the very top, but this section here. If you see this, you can overmatch that with just about everything you can see, but again, it's pretty tricky to hit. So on the side of this, if you hit this bang on the side here, you'll find it's really hard to penetrate purely because it's spaced armor. But my advice to you is hit just below that, between that and the tracks. As you can see, it's around 90 to 150-ish, so it's pretty decent. Now on the turret, if you've got a high penetration tank for tier 7 to 8, you'll be fine. And also on the rear, don't load HE because it's quite high, unless you've got HEP or HESH or something. Just load AP and go right through it like butter. I'm on ENTs, because you can see on the standard battle I'm top tier, which is pretty nice, and I'm with my good friend Nuclear Waffle from Ideal. We're gonna just see how this plays out. Ideally I would like to go to the town, purely because I'm heavy and I can dominate that section. Nuclear Waffle's going to head over to the train tracks, see if he can get any sniping tanks going across. Hopefully he can, which will put them down to a low health so I can start bullying even more. Now this tank, to me, this is a tier 9 tank in a tier 8 matchmaking. Its armor's damn good. Its gun, even though the gun seems to be quite bad at 0.36 and aim time of 2.78, this tank seems to hit nearly everything you aim at. And even though I've got 12 gold, you rarely need them. As long as you're not shooting at E100s, VK4502Bs, Mausers, you should have no reason to fire gold at any tank. I do occasionally, just to make sure, especially if the pressure's on, but in general I don't. Now I'm going to play quite aggressive here. I'm going to go out and try and harass these tanks. I see myself a Tiger, I hit him for a nice shot of 447. Now at the end of the day, this tank hits for 390 I believe average, so 447 is quite a nice shot. I put a shot into him. I do not understand why that didn't penetrate, but I did, however, track him and hoping my team would be able to do something. Now, as you can see, that went through me like butter, and the reason for that is because I angle my tank. The trick with an IS3 is not to angle. The only time you ever angle is if you're bum scraping, where you put your butt to a wall and you just curve out slightly. Otherwise, don't do it, guys. So I put a shot into the IS3. He returns one for 409, where I hit him for 421, so the trade-in was pretty decent on this. Unfortunately, I seem to be getting shot quite a lot at the moment. I'm not playing the best of my capability, but I'm still hanging in there. I've got Nuclear Waffle on the right hand side doing shots at the IS3, shall I say, and putting a bit of flanking cover in. I see myself a Tiger. He drives up, being a bit of a Yahoo type of guy, and I ammo rack him for 500, which is quite nice, 590 to be exact. So I've decided that's a little bit too risque for me. I'm going to try and flank round and at least try and put my armour to good use. I'll see if I can get any shots on the CDC. I can't, so I push forward. Now, as you've seen with this, the armour is decent. I've blocked some shots, but if you angle this tank, it becomes quite weak. Unfortunately, our CDC takes a shot. I take a snapshot on the move, and luckily I bounced that Borsig. He must have fired into my tracks. So I'm about to reload and finish off this tank. The OI really isn't enough for this tank. It's going to damage the tank because it's an HE tank, but it's not going to outtrade an IS3 when it's at top whack. So I'm going to try and get this CDC out and hopefully take out this light tank as well. I take out the CDC. Now I know that that tank there, frontally, he's not going to be able to penetrate me. He knows that, hence why he's not going for me at that exact minute. He's trying to get around me. He's reloading, I think, because he's running away, and I snapshot and I miss quite terribly. It was a really poor shot by me. So it's looking a bit dire here. We're 10-7 down. It's 3,000 apiece on health, so they must have a lot of low healths, where we've got a couple of high healths, including Nuclear Waffle and I believe the T32. So I see myself a Borsig. I put a shot in and I pull straight back. Now, I don't know if you're taking note here. How many shots have I missed? The only shot I believe I've missed is on the light tank, where it was down to me. Every tank I've actually aimed, I've seemed to hit. Yes, it's close quarters, but it still hits. So I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to stay here purely because I don't want to get whacked. I end up getting shot because to him I'm angled and he's just hit my top plate and gone straight through it like butter. Now I see a Borsig, I snapshot, he misses thankfully, and I take him out. Now I've got a JPZ bore or whatever it's called. And he shoots, he misses. I don't think he can penetrate me. Tier 6 TD frontally, he has to be quite lucky or hit my lower plate. So I bounce a shot off him, as I said, but I take him out. I see myself beside of a Tiger 2. Hopefully he's going to stay there and let me shoot him. If not, I won't be very happy. And he goes just as I've reloaded. I pull in, I take a shot, and I low roll for 3-4-3. All I had to do there is roll average and I would have taken him out. So all what's left now is RT, who's been a thorn in my side the whole game. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because this tank isn't exactly the quickest. It's around 35 kilometers top speed on a flat. So I'm going round. I've told Nuclear, let me take the shot, because at the end of the day I've got more chances of belts, and he says no, I want the kills. So he went in. I've made sure I'm hidden. I'm trying to get a shot at the RT. I told him, let me get it, I want it. He's saying no, I can get it, and I'm saying no, you can't, I'll team kill you. So I pull round and I snapshot. I'm on Sand River, I'm top tier again. One thing I will notice on this is I'd say 50% of your gamers are going to be top tier, 30% of your games are going to be tier 9 and 20% are going to be tier 10 on this. So I mostly get tier 8. I might be lucky, but that's the way I felt with this tank. So I'm going to go head off to the north to try and bully some tanks. I'm a heavy tank at the end of the day, and I need to show my authority over there, especially being top tier. So I need to dominate that area so I can flank down and hopefully dominate that area. Now I'm on my own here. It's a standard battle. Most of my team are going north, which is quite detrimental to the south, purely because we're going to win one side and then it's going to be a battle between sides. But getting the top area, we've got more shots down on the south. That's the whole reason I go to the top. So if we dominate the top, which I generally do in my games, it's then flanking down, and we've got the height advantage where we can shoot down at them, but they have to shoot up at us. So I've decided I'm going to go here. I'm not going to go up that hill. It'll take me forever to get up that hill. I'd rather get down here, get hull down-ish, and try and bully these tanks into submission. I get spotted by that Chaffee. I can straight away see that Chaffee's going to be a thorn in my side, so I am going to try and focus him as much as possible to get him away. And I'll pick him over even a heavy tank, which is here, if there is one here. So I see myself an IS3 again. I want that Chaffee. I don't want that IS3. My thing is that Chaffee, and I hit him for 4-3-5, leaving him on 5 health. That serves you right for being a thorn in my side from the start. And now an Oni has decided to join this IS3. Now I know I'm safe from anything on the right hand side. There is nothing on the right, so I am going to try and get myself haul down over this little bit of the ridge and bully these tanks. So my first priority is going to be this IS3. I shoot at him, hit his top plate, and I penetrate. Now I'm going to load APCR on my next shot, I believe, maybe the shot after, because I really want to try and take this Oni, because he's quite a dangerous tank. I load APCR now because my attention is now the Oni, because the IS3 is no longer the tank I need to take out. Now he goes and angles perfectly so I can shoot him with AP, but before he didn't, and in case he moves back, I'm not going to change my ammunition loadout. So I put in another shot, hitting him for 410 and putting him down to 39 health. That IS3 is put down to a one shot for just about everything in the game, and luckily my team decide they want to try and kill me themselves. The only point of damage I've taken is by my own team. Thanks for that, guys. I do let him know he's a bit of a retard, because at the end of the day there was no reason for him shooting me. I was nowhere near any of those tanks. So he either did it on purpose because I was taking the damage, or it was just a bot auto aiming. So I put a shot into the T-34, rolling for only 342. I see myself with CDC. I shoot. Did I hit him blind? I don't know. I'm hoping I did. But my attention is still on the T-34. Even though he's seems to be hauled down. But unfortunately for him, he shows me his tracks. And I detrack him. Now I got shot in the side there by a FV4202. He's hauled down. He's going to be quite hard to penetrate there, so I'm not going to even bother trying shooting him at this exact minute. I'm just going to push forward, get myself between the rock and him. Now armour in this tank is pretty decent, but as you've noticed, I don't get many bounces in this tank, purely because it's an awkward tank. If you slightly angle, they can penetrate you quite easily on the top plate. It's weaker than your lower plate, especially if you angle. It goes down to about 200 penetration if you angle your tank, so do not angle this if you can. So my attention is on the FV4202. I want to try and help my medium tank, because at the end of the day I want to try and keep him in the game. So I take a shot, I hit him for 386. The T-34-1 is trying his best to stay alive, but it looks like he might be a little bit too much. Or is it? I take him out. The T-34-1 lives another day. So my attention now is the Mod 1 and the Centurion. I need to take these guys out, purely because we need to at least win one flank. We haven't won a flank yet. We've won the north, but let's face it, there was only a couple of tanks up there. My team seemed to disappear when it came to the south. So I see myself, the Centurion. I take a shot and I hit him. Now, as I mentioned in the last replay, you may have noticed everything I seem to aim in this tank seems to hit. Not necessarily penetrate, but hit. Now, that one didn't, granted, but I was on the move. My bloom was about the maximum it could be, so it wasn't going to hit, or it was going to hit less chance. So I'll take a shot at him. The mod 1 bounces. He's only got 185 pen, I believe. So there's no way he's going to penetrate me, especially if I'm face hugging like this. He's just got no chance, bless him. And I nearly put him out of his misery. I hit him and leave him on 4. But luckily, our Ferdinand finishes the job. Now I'm going to push forward. This game's already won, but I just want to make sure. So all what's left now is the Dicamax, the T-34-1 and the CDC, and let's not forget the T-44, who at this point in the dip, I'm keeping a slight eye over there, which is why my turret's aiming over there, purely because that Ferdinand might need my help. Even though he's on full health, he can easily get traversed and end up being in a lot of bother. So I've decided I'm going to go off down here. He's probably my best course of damage as well. I've got 4,400 damage bar 1. I've had a good game, especially out of only, I say only, but I've had 2 kills, but they were on vital tanks, so I'm happy with that. So the mobility on this tank is not too bad, as you can see, with considering it's a heavy, it's not bad at all. The mod 1, I track him, hopefully my tanks, or should I say the T-34-1 will do his job and take him out of the game for me. He does. Now, all that's left is the Dicamax. I'm going to speed this up just a tad because there's not much what really happens. All that's left is the T-34-1, and he's getting out traded now anyway. So let's go over to the results. So I'm on WOTreplays.com. As you can see, I've penetrated 9 tanks. I've done 3, 6, 7 module damage also. I get Ace Tanker, I get Hand of God, Bruiser, Demolition Expert, Fighter and Fire for Effect. I also get Brother in Arms because I was with my platoon mate, and I get High Caliber for that game. So I get 1,364 base experience, I get 5 kills and 3,821 damage. My good friend Nuclear Waffle got 1,222 experience, 4 kills and 3,758 experience. I made 57,645. My repairs were 9,700. My resupply of ammunition was 22,500, and my resupply of consumables was 6,000, giving me a profit of 48,237. I did 2,046 experience out of that because I'm premium. It was a ×2 event, and I also got 205 experience for being in the platoon. In all, that gave me 4,297 experience with 204 free experience. I fired 15 shots, hitting 13 and penetrating 11. So I'm on my second replay. I penetrated 3, 6, 9 tanks, doing module damage to 3, 6 tanks. I got Ace Tanker again, I got Bruiser, I got Fire for Effect, I got Confederate, and I got High Caliber again. So I got 1,378 base experience with 2 kills and 5,203 damage. I got 71,124 credits, 2,481 for compensation when I got shot in the butt, 5,600 for vehicle repairs, 36,300 for resupply of ammunition. Ammunition is quite expensive in this, giving me a profit of 34,127. I got 2,067 experience with 102 free XP. I fired 17 shots, hitting 15 and penetrating 15. So now we're on the section where I'll give you the pros and cons about the tank, and then hopefully give some hints and tips on how to play it, or at least how to take it down on the battlefield. So the pros of this tank: the gun is sensational. For a tier 8 it seems to be, as I say, it's a tier 9 tank in a tier 8 matchmaking. The gun seems to hit everything if you aim. It seems to penetrate everything as long as you aim. At the end of the day, if you're hitting stupid angles and heavily armoured vehicles which outmatch your penetration, obviously you're going to bounce. But on those occasions, load gold and hope they're not outmatching you on millimeters of armour. Now, the mobility, now it's not a medium, but at the end of the day, it's not a heavy. It seems to be quicker than your average tank. Take a Tiger 2, it outperforms that in every way in mobility, apart from probably traversing on a spot. Its armor's very good. You bum scrape in this, not even tier 10s are going to pen you if you bum scrape correctly. Now, if you angle the tank when you're side scraping or just trying to angle to try and bounce the tank, you're going to end up getting penetrated, because at the end of the day, the angling on the front, the pike nose, it kind of lets you down. If they hit your lower plate angled, that's fine. You'll bounce quite a lot of shots, but generally, most people know that if an IS3 or even like tanks like an IS7, or generally pike nose tanks, if you hit them when they're angled on the top plates to the angle which is facing to you, you've got more chance of penetrating them even with AP. So the negatives on this tank is the armour. Even though I gave it a huge plus, it's also a huge negative. If you angle in this tank, you will get penetrated. At the end of the day, the front on this tank is absolutely immense if you don't angle. But to be honest, that's the only flaw I can see in this tank, if you angle it frontally. The rest of it's decent. It's got okay mobility for a tier 8 heavy. It's got good armour if used effectively. It's got a great gun, and it's just a damn good all-round tank. To me, this is the most OP tank in the game. So my hints on taking this out on the battlefield: mobility. If you're a medium or a light tank, traverse round it, try and get it side and rear. If you're going to see this frontally and you've only got like 180 pen standard, aim for the lower plate, or try and get it slightly angled where you can hit the top plate and hopefully go through it 50% of the time with only about 180 pen. Now, my advice on how to use this is don't angle this unless it's going to be literally a bum scrape where you've got your bum to the wall and you're just angling out slightly and you're shooting them, because all they've got then is your top cupola to get, and that's a hard thing to hit. Now, if you're in a tier 10 game or a hard tier 9 game where you've got E75s, VK4502Bs, I suggest going the medium route. This can be a medium, a slow medium, a bit of a sluggish medium, but to be honest, you'll penetrate just about every single medium in the game, bar an E50 if he's angling well. So if you're in a tough matchup, take it down the medium route and bully the mediums. If you're not in your top tier, or if you're in a tier 9 or 10 game where you're quite well armoured, where they haven't got heavy tanks, take it down the heavy route. At the end of the day, this is an all-round tank. Go out there and do your business. So that's it from this video, guys. If you like, please like and subscribe. It won't just help this channel, it'll also help this video. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.